Okay, if we talk about Conor, last couple of years he's not hungry. And now what happened with his legs, like never ever. Never people come back and never gonna be people on same prime twice. Prime come only one time. You're gonna be on prime. After that, you're gonna go down. All respect for Max Holloway, but I don't know and I don't understand why UFC make this fight.
Obviously, he's going up against Max Holloway in a great fight. How do you see that matchup between those two?
Personally, I think because it's at welterweight, I see Conor knocking him out. Like, everyone's counting Conor out and thinks that Max is going to win. If it goes to the later rounds, yeah, Max definitely probably start piecing him up on the feet because he's got that cardio and the volume. But the fact that it's at welterweight, I think, favours Conor because Charles made Max look small at lightweight. So imagine how big Conor's going to look compared to him at welterweight.
Lastly, so this is the notorious one versus the blessed one, which is fitting yet ironic because Max has given us one of the most notorious knockouts in UFC history, and you have blessed us with so many moments.
Good.
So the question that I have for Mystic Mac, as you like to call yourself, how does this one end?
It's going to be a demolition. It's going to be an absolute demolition. I know the damage he's taken. I know I will just have to touch him. And after that, it will be clinical. So to win alone is not just enough. It must be spectacular, and that it will be.
The rematch everyone's been waiting for Conor McGregor against Max Holloway is finally closing in, and the debate over who walks away with the win is getting louder by the day. Some fans are convinced McGregor still has that one-punch magic in him, backed by the kind of swagger that's carried him through fights nobody thought he'd win. Others aren't buying it, pointing instead to Holloway's relentless gas tank and years of hard-earned ring smarts as the real difference maker. Both men have put in the work, both are dialed in for what could be the fight of their careers, but at the end of the day, nobody's got a crystal ball. We'll just have to wait and see how it plays out.
But I think obviously like Conor is kind of like, he just has a good physique in general. There's never a time where you see him without his shirt off and he looks like shit.
Yeah, fair.
You know what I'm saying?
He's jacked. He was jacked for a minute on his Lamborghini boat.
He has a great physique, bro. Like
I saw him set up like a circus
good.
tent or something in his front yard.
But
Did you see that?
Yeah.
Do you know where that was at?
I have no idea.
Yeah, it's like a full-blown circus tent that he just made a pop-up gym. I mean, he's been doing a lot of press. We haven't seen him do this much press in a long time, fight-focused press. He looks very healthy, very clean. I mean, I think this might be a different Conor, though, right? His age.
Yeah, well, I think if I use sounds, I think fans will understand the different rhythms. But Max Holloway is more like an Uzi, right? When he fights, it's more brr, brr, ba, 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 ba. The consistency, the significant striking numbers he has is out of this world. It's bing, 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 ding, 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 ding. It's always in your face. It's constant movement. It's touch, touch, go, touch, touch, move, move, advance, play. It's constant activity. But he doesn't have that one punch power, that shotgun. That's what Conor has. Conor's always had that shotgun. If that left hand lands, it's game over. And he's laser focused with it. So you've got a person who needs to be on that, and then you've got someone who goes boom, 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 boom. If one of them lands, the fight's over. So I would, if I'm Conor and I walk into that first round and I enter the middle of the octagon and Max hasn't started to instantly kind of put the pace on him, I'd walk his ass down. I'd put his back to the cage. I'd go high, I'd go low, I'd go high, I'd go low. I'd keep him guessing, and I'd put everything straight down the middle. Just boom, boom, and then sneak one around the corner when he doesn't expect it, and hope that that's it. Good night. It's a tough fight for both of them.
Yeah, 100%. Yeah, I can't wait to see how it plays out. And
when you look at the state of the UFC over the last couple of months.
That said, Michael Bisping isn't ready to write McGregor off just yet. Sure, the former champ tips his hat to Holloway's polished, well-rounded style, but Bisping keeps coming back to the same point. McGregor's biggest weapon has never really been his hands, it's what's going on in his head. And if the fire is really back, which Bisping seems to think it is, based on how locked in McGregor looks heading into this camp, then there's still a real path back to his old form. Bisping's take is pretty straightforward. Holloway probably wins the fight if it goes the distance. But McGregor doesn't need the distance. He just needs those opening rounds, where his power alone could flip the whole script.
Dangerous for Max early, though.
Really?
Yeah. Of course. Connor's always been a big hitter.
Conor still has it.
Dude, listen.
Yeah.
Me and Conor aren't exactly friendly.
Why not? You're both from the UK.
No. We know each other for a long time.
Really?
We don't need to get into all that. But what I'm saying is, so I'm not saying this from a perspective of we're friends and we're buddies. He was a 2-weight division champion. You know what I'm saying? And yeah, he made all this money and all the rest of it, but the man's the most powerful tool.
Yeah.
And the guy that was there, all right, granted, it was a long time ago, 2016, but if the motivation's strong enough, he can come back and look really good. And yeah, he was flipping out at Max the other day in that interview.
Did you see that?
But he was playing the game. He was promoting the fight, hyping it up big time. And he looks good. Yeah. You know, like he looks like he's training and taking the camp seriously. And if he is doing that, I'm telling you.
But I think
Max is awesome on the feet, but Conor's got the power early.
On top of that, Bisping pointed out just how much pressure is sitting on McGregor's shoulders right now. He's already done it all in this sport. The titles, the money, the legacy, but none of that matters if he can't prove he's still got it after so much time away and so many bumps along the road. And this isn't some layup of a comeback fight either. Bisping was quick to note that Holloway is still active, still sharp, still battle-tested, the kind of opponent who doesn't let you ease back into things. There's no room for McGregor to coast here, not against someone like that.
There's a lot of pressure because he's got all the money in the world, and congratulations to him for that. And he's got all the accolades. You know, what he did for the sport will never be forgotten or probably repeated. But he's lost his last few. And 5 years ago, he lost and he got knocked out before that. And all three of us know this as fighters. That's what we pride ourselves on. And that's what he prides himself on. And he knows Max Holloway has been fighting the best routinely, staying active. So if you're going to underestimate that guy and come back after 5 years and not train properly, you're a fool.
Yeah.
Brendan Schaub echoed that same sentiment, and he took it even further. This fight, he says, is about a lot more than just beating Holloway. In Schaub's eyes, this could be the moment that decides where the rest of McGregor's career actually goes. And here's the interesting part. Schaub thinks McGregor can handle whatever comes out of it, win or lose. Even if he ends up on the losing side, it won't tarnish his name as one of the biggest names the sport has ever seen. Not as long as he shows he can still hang with the best fighters out there.
With you. I don't know if Max is going to overlook Conor because Conor McGregor. Yeah, I think it's going to be a better fight than people think. Win, lose, or draw, I think Conor makes himself proud. He knows what's on the line. Because if Conor goes in there and he's a shell or he looks like Nate did on Netflix, the UFC's like, out. We're out. We're out. No, there's no negotiation. It also hurts his negotiation tactics when he becomes a free agent. So it'd be a nightmare for him, man. So I think he knows, like, this fight is the most important fight in order for his future to get paid. He has, and it doesn't mean, I'm not saying he has to win. He just has to look good, be competitive. So we want to see him fight more. So because the UFC, they're backing up the Brinks truck to get this guy in here for 2 fights. They're not going to continue to do that. Netflix MVP, they'll pay him a big bag, but not as much as if, let's say, he was 2-0 or at least 1-1, you know? So there's a lot on the line for Conor. There's more pressure on Conor by far than Max.
Schaub also weighed in on why he thinks Holloway agreed to move up and fight at welterweight in the first place. His take? A payday and a spotlight this big just doesn't come around often, and that kind of opportunity was too good to turn down, division or no division. When money and global attention are on the table at this level, the weight class becomes almost beside the point. As for what comes after UFC 329, Schaub figures the promotion will likely hold off on any big decisions until the dust settles from that card. If McGregor comes out and looks like his old self, expect the conversations about his future to pick right back up. But if he steps in there and just isn't the same fighter anymore, that changes everything, no question about it.
What the F is Max doing going up to 170? Fighting Conor McGregor. I bet he would have went up to 185 to fight Conor. It's red panty night. So you fight Conor at 55, 70, 85, 205. It's Conor. But I would doubt he'd go up there if it was anybody else. But yeah, it's Conor, man. That's why. The payday's going to be nutsos. The exposure, nutsos. SVN 1977. Fan question, is the UFC planning a card in Dublin for next April? Is that why Conor's second fight isn't till then? Maybe. there could be something to that, maybe. But I think it's more of the UFC just prolonging it, so they can figure out what they got, you know? International Fight Week, let's see how he does against Max. If he's cooking, they're gonna negotiate. But I would assume if, he's a shell of himself and he doesn't look good, you'll see him fight before.
McGregor's also picking up backing from an unexpected corner, Ian Gary. Gary's theory is that all that time away from the cage might actually work in McGregor's favor, potentially reigniting the same hunger that once made him one of the most feared champions the sport has ever seen. Now, Gary isn't dismissing Holloway's Ursum. The guy's been elite and rock solid at the top level for years. No argument there. But he does think the jump to welterweight throws an interesting wrinkle into the mix, one that could actually tilt things McGregor's way. His reasoning? McGregor should carry even more pop in his punches at the higher weight, which means a real shot at ending the fight early with one clean shot.
You think Conor wins?
Absolutely. It's not an easy fight. Max is very good at what he does. He's obviously been in there against the best guys in the world repeatedly over and over and over again. But whilst Conor's been inactive, the hunger will start to thrive in his mind and in his skull. And at 170 pounds, I think this fight's very, very interesting. I think it's very interesting. Conor's going to have the knockout power. I think it's very similar to the Ilya fight. It's a very similar game plan, I think, from both of them. I think if I use sounds, I think fans will understand the different rhythms. But Max Holloway is more like an Uzi, right?
Even Max Holloway himself wouldn't mind seeing McGregor come out on top. It's a telling sign when your own opponent is rooting for you, at least in part. The bigger picture, as this perspective goes, is that the sport benefits either way when a name this massive returns from a long layoff and actually delivers. So no matter whose hand gets raised at the end of the night, one thing stays true. A McGregor who shows up and fights like his old self is a win for the sport overall. So now it's your turn. Who do you think takes this one? Conor McGregor or Max Holloway? Drop your prediction in the comments.
The question, who do you think is going to win? Conor McGregor or Max Holloway?
So I know Conor McGregor wins first time. He's been out from this game a long time.
Wow, yeah.
And then Max Holloway, he's been in the training. He's always in the shape. And then this benefit will help Max Holloway. Mm-hmm. But also Conor McGregor, he's bigger now. Maybe because of he was laid off. Maybe he's hungry now. So I think for sport it will be good if Conor McGregor comes and show good fights, and if he wins, that would be huge. But I think Max Holloway has a more chance. But I kind of want more Conor McGregor.
You want McGregor to win?
Yeah, because it's gonna be huge and big.
It's gonna be a big.
While most people were busy picking apart the McGregor-Holloway matchup itself, Daniel Cormier zoomed out and looked at things from a different angle. The UFC Hall of Famer made an interesting argument. Charles Oliveira might have actually talked himself out of a big money fight with McGregor by looking too good against Holloway. Think about it, that dominant performance showed exactly the kind of danger Oliveira brings to the table, and that's not the kind of danger McGregor needs right now. Cormier's reasoning is simple. With Oliveira's grappling and his ability to take a fight to the ground and just control it from there was almost no upside for McGregor to take that risk. Holloway, by comparison, became the far safer and far more marketable choice.
Ultimately, I believe, at least in my opinion, Charles Oliveira lost the Conor McGregor fight when he beat Max Holloway in the way that he did, because I'm not sure Conor McGregor was willing to fight against someone that could potentially take him down, control him the entirety of a 25-minute fight. So Max Holloway gets the fight. Many a times I've said Max has lost, Max gained in losing to Do Bronx. Hell, we even talked about what Max told me when he was kind of politicking for the Conor McGregor fight.
Renowned coach Ray Wink is also throwing his weight behind the idea that it's way too soon to count McGregor out. He'll be the first to tip his cap to Holloway's striking, his toughness, and just how reliably good he's been over the years. None of that's up for debate. But for Wink, the whole fight comes down to one question: which McGregor actually shows up? If the Irishman has genuinely put the work in behind closed doors and can rediscover that sharp, precise timing that once made him one of the scariest counterpunchers in the entire UFC, then Wink thinks we could be looking at a genuinely special fight. Bottom line, in his eyes, McGregor still has more than enough in the tank to pull off the upset, provided he brings his absolute best.
Do you think that the underdog streak can keep going? Like, are you giving Conor McGregor a shot here at potentially beating Max Holloway again and keeping this crazy thing going of these underdogs coming out and just delivering on crazy levels?
I think it's a possibility. There's no doubt about it. I think it's tough because I have so much respect for Max Holloway. It's incredible, but Conor is a special person in that if he's training, if he's doing the right things, and he shows up, it's going to be one of those fights. Which Conor McGregor shows up, I guess, is what it's all about. I know Max is going to show up and do what he does. He's going to say, "Hey, let's just throw down, let's go." And he's just got such good accuracy and just the ability just to throw and the heart he has. But if the right Conor shows up that can slip the punch and counter and do these things that we know he's done before in the past, it's going to be a wild fight. There's no doubt about it. But yeah, I think the underdogs. I'm usually on the side. I'm always rooting for the underdogs a little bit unless I know them. But I don't know. I don't know. It's just going to be. I'm just excited.
Then there's Wade Plemons, who took a completely different angle, less about game plans, more about what's going on inside McGregor's head after that horrific leg injury. Plemons' point is this: McGregor doesn't just need that titanium rod to hold up physically, he needs to actually believe it will, even though belief alone can't guarantee anything. That mental side of things, he argues, matters just as much as the physical healing. And he's got a cautionary tale to back it up: Chris Weidman, a fighter whose confidence seemed to evaporate the moment he tested an injured leg in real fight conditions. That's the real danger here, according to Plemons. It's not really about whether the leg holds up. It's about whether McGregor still trusts it once the pressure's on and the fight actually starts. But here's where Plemons flips the usual narrative. He doesn't think the long layoff is the disadvantage everyone assumes it is. Instead of years lost, he frames it as years of recovery, time for McGregor's body to heal, not just from that injury, but from the general wear and tear of a long fighting career. In his view, McGregor could be walking in mentally fresher and physically sturdier than he's been in years, especially now that he's settled naturally into the welterweight frame. And since Holloway is also adjusting to 170 pounds for the first time, Plemons thinks McGregor's extra size, extra power, and less battered body could end up being the quiet, underrated factors that make this fight a whole lot closer than people expect. So, over to you. Who do you think gets their hand raised at UFC 329? Is this the comeback story McGregor completes, or does Holloway prove once again that he belongs among the very best in the world? Drop your predictions in the comments, and if you're into breakdowns like this, go ahead and like, subscribe, and hit that notification bell so you don't miss what's coming next.